Hey class, it's Ashley and I'm back with another mentoring moment. And today we're going to talk about how to increase your salary by a minimum of $2,000 a month using these 3 strategies. On average, my mentees see about a $30,000 salary increase after working with me. This is after serving hundreds of women over the course of 3 years. On average, they see about a $30,000 salary increase. And on average, women come to me making about $50,000 and leaving making about $80,000. So what I did was I really broke that number down. I love getting into the nitty gritty. I don't know about y'all, but I'm a visual learner. I'm the type of person that I need to see it mapped out. And so I brought out my handy dandy whiteboard. We're going to work on the whiteboard today and really talk about how you can increase your salary by a minimum of $2,000 per month using 3 very specific and targeted strategies. I'm excited to talk about this because this is not a analogy. This is not like something you might consider. This is a proven and strategic strategy that I teach my mentees in my Mentor Me Accelerator program. And I'm going to teach you why it works for my mentees today in today's live. I also hope that this training that I'm doing live today helps you see the value of investing in yourself through mentorship. When it comes to working with me as a mentor, there's an investment. There's a financial investment to hire me as a mentor. But the return on that investment is tremendous. And in today's examples, we're going to be talking about the amount of money my mentees invest to work with me and how they see that $30,000 return in just 8 weeks or just 2 months. And so I'm really excited about this live. I'm excited to dive in with you. If you really want to better learn how to increase your salary using the skills, talent, and expertise that you already have, just throw some hearts up on the screen. I want to make sure that you're plugged in today, that you're excited about today's live, and you're excited about specific and targeted strategies to increase your salary by a minimum of $2,000 a month using 3 proven strategies. And all of these strategies that we're going to talk about today don't require you to get another degree. They don't require you to get another credential. They don't require you to get another certification. We're going to focus today on using the skills, knowledge, talent, and expertise that you already have. Because so many of you are skilled, right? Like you already have the goods. You already have lots of years of experience. Maybe you already have the degree. Listen, a lot of you already have a number of degrees and credentials. You don't need more. But what you do need is to learn how to use the skills that you have to get what you want. And that's what we're going to focus on in today's live. So let's dive in. So like I said, on average, before working with me, right, on average, my mentees start with about a $50,000 salary, right? And this is common, I think, in this country, in the United States, on average, women women with a minimum, I think, of 3 years of experience earn about $47,000 annually, right? So my mentees are in that same range. Often come to me earning about $50,000 a year. And, I know that it's really taboo. You're not supposed to talk about how much money you make. A lot of people feel like that's very secretive. I don't want to tell anybody how much money I make, but I really believe in salary transparency. I really believe in talking about how much money you make. And I really believe in being bold about how much money you desire to make at this stage in your career. I think a lot of this, I don't want to say how much money I make, and I don't want to say what salary I want, and I don't want to be too greedy, and I don't want nobody to think that, I'm too good or I'm too bougie. All of that is holding women in general and Black women specifically back when it comes to salary. So I think it's really important to talk with expert like me about how much money you make and how much money you desire to make in your industry. Because I think a lot of times people hold on to these myths, right? You can't make no money in education. Oh, you can't make any money in nonprofit. Not really knowing that lots of people are making a lot of money in these fields, and they just think that they think because they haven't made a lot of money in the field that it's not possible. And often I'll talk to women and a woman and she'll tell me, I make about $38,000 a year. And I'm like, sis, that same skill set that you have where you're making $38,000 a year, you can make $78,000 a year with that same skill set. I talk to women all the time in education or healthcare or government jobs who are making 20, 30, 40, $50,000 less than they should be given their skill set. And so it's really critical that you get vocal, right? Not with the right person, right? Don't be going out, and telling everybody how much money you make. But, you really do need to slide into my DMs and say, hey, Ashley, right now in my field, I'm making about $60,000 and I feel underpaid. What's the average for someone in my field? You and I can talk about that because chances are you're being underpaid. Chances are there are people with your same skill set, with your same credentials who are making significantly more. And that's a problem. Like if you're being underpaid, that could be a legal issue. It could be because of racism or sexism or bias or discrimination. And we need to know that, right? We need to understand that so we can fix the inequity. So if you have concerns about whether or not you're being underpaid in your current field, I encourage you to slide in my DMs. Hey, Ashley, can I talk to you about my salary? Hey, Ashley, can I talk to you about industry standards in my field? Because chances are you're being underpaid. I have more than 15 years of experience in corporate, nonprofit, and educational leadership. I have a lot of experience with salaries across those industries. And I can tell pretty quickly based on your years of experience, your degree level, and how much money you're currently making, and plus where you live, whether or not you're being underpaid. And so if that's a question you have, I invite you to just hop in my DMs. Say, Ashley, can I talk to you about my salary? You and I can schedule a call and we can start to really look at where you are currently in your salary and the amount of money you desire to make going forward so that we can make sure that we start a plan to get you where you need to be, because chances are you're being underpaid. And so like I said, on average though, before working with me, women come to me, earning about $50,000 a year, which before taxes and insurance and any other things they have coming out of their check, that amounts to about $4,000 a month, right? And so on average, women come to me making about that amount. And I know, like I said, I know that talking about salary can be really scary. It brings up all kinds of things for folks, but, you don't have to answer publicly, but I know that many of you who are watching this live or who are watching on replay are in that 50K range, right? And chances are, especially in this economy, especially with inflation, especially with rising housing prices, food prices, gas prices, childcare prices, you probably feel like you're not making enough money, right? And if that's you, if you feel like, Ashley, right now, I'm not making enough money. I'm not making as much money as I desire. Just put a yes in the chat. Like, I'm not making as much money as I desire. I'm not making I'm not making as much money as I deserve. I'm being underpaid in my work. If that's you, just type a yes in the chat. I just want to make sure I'm in the right room, that there are some folks here that feel like they're being undervalued, they're being underpaid, they're being underrecognized, they're being undercompensated for their expertise. Yeah, so I'm seeing some yeses pop up on the screen. Wonderful. Okay, and thank you for sharing that. Thanks for your vulnerability. I'm glad that you feel like this is a brave space where you can really be honest about the fact that you're being underpaid. Because I think that it's like AA, right? Like the first step to, it's like my name, like AA, right? The first step to, getting out of, going to recovery is acknowledging that there's a problem. So many of you have boldly acknowledged that I'm being underpaid, that I'm not being paid for the value of my expertise. And I think that that's the first sign of like, warning, there's a problem here. Warning, like we need to be making more money. Warning, we need to get some help in our career. Warning, it's time for me to move on from this organization, from this position, from this industry, from this, kind of work, right? If you feel grossly overworked and underpaid, like I'm glad that you recognize that. It's an uncomfortable recognition. It's an uncomfortable realization, but it is critical that you recognize it because it's the first step to doing something about it, right? We can't do something about something we don't even recognize. If you don't even see yourself as overworked and underpaid, you're not going to be committed to changing what's going on in your career to actually make more money and have more impact. So I'm glad that some of you are beginning to recognize that you're being overworked and underpaid, right? And so what we want to do is we want to focus on how we can earn more money in our career. Many of you, like said, you're overworked and underpaid. If you're in that $50,000 a year bracket, you're earning about $4,000 monthly. And the goal is to earn more money. And my goal for my mentees is always to earn more money without having to go back to school, without having to get another degree, without having to get another credential, without having to wait for somebody to retire, hire without having to wait until somebody puts you on, without having to do all of that to earn more money using the skills, knowledge, talent, and expertise that you already have. And if that's something you all want to do, just type another yes in the chat. If you're like, Ashley, I want to use what I have. I already have a degree. I already have a credentials. I already have years of experience. Maybe you already have experience training people. You already have done this kind of work before. You just want to make more money using the skills that you already have. You're not trying to get nothing else. You don't want to have to go and take out a student loan to earn another degree or take 8 weeks to earn another credential. You just want to use what you already got. Yeah, yes. I see Just for Tash said, oh yes. Jackie C said, oh yes. One Differently Handmade said yes. Okay, good. So we're on the same page. One, you have recognized that you are overworked and underpaid, that you feel like your skill set could command a higher level salary. That's true for a lot of you. And then a lot of you have also clearly identified that I want to use the skills that I already have. Like, I believe in education, I believe in lifelong learning, but I don't want to have to spend any more time or any more money earning other credentials without making more money first. Right? So yes, we are on the same page with that. A lot of you have committed to that. A lot of you are saying that that's what you desire. So that means you're in the right place, because I'm going to teach you about how to transition into that higher level salary in today's live. So what we want to do is we want to go from making about $50,000 annually to making a minimum of $80,000 annually. This is a $30,000 salary increase, right? So we want to move from making about $50,000 annually to making about $80,000 annually. This is a $30,000 salary increase, and this $30,000 salary increase will move you from earning monthly about $4,000 before taxes and insurance and all that stuff to making about $6,000 monthly, right? And that's a $2,000 salary increase on a month. And I bet a lot of you can think about what you can do with an extra $2,000, right? Right? I know for a lot of you with an extra $2,000, you could move, right? You can move because you hate where you live right now. It's not enough space for your entire family. You hate the traffic. You hate the commute, and you like to be able to move, right? So with an additional $2,000 a month, you would be able to comfortably, hire movers, move into the new place, pay a higher rent or mortgage, be able to comfortably buy new furniture. Like, you would be able to do all of that if you had an additional $2,000 a month. For a lot of you, you want to be able to put your kids in private school. You hate the public school system. You feel like they're not teaching your baby. They don't treat your baby right. Your baby don't have the resources that they want. And you like to be able to put them in a private or semi-private or Montessori type school. But right now, making $50,000 a year, you simply cannot afford that. An extra $2,000 a month, monthly, moving from $50,000 a month a year, to $80,000 a year would allow you to put your child in private school or a semi-private school or improve their education, right? For some of you, it's about lifestyle. You want to be able to go to Jamaica. You want to be able to go to Cabo. You want to be able to see the Grecian Islands. And on your current salary, you cannot do that. Not comfortably, at least not without having to use 100,000 credit card points that you don't really have yet and trying to put it on a credit card and trying to take out a payday loan. Like, it's not giving the freedom and flexibility that you desire. And for others of you, it's about saving. You want to have a stable savings account. You want to be able to actually have money in the bank that it doesn't have an assignment yet. You want to be able to have some financial flexibility, right? And if any of those rationales, resonate with you, or if you have other rationales, just type them in the chat. I'd be interested to know, what would you do with an additional $2,000 a month? Right? Would you save it? Would you put your kids in better school? Would you, be able to use it to start your entrepreneurial journey? Would you focus on relocating? Like, what would you do with an additional $2,000 a month? Because that's what we're talking about, right? We're talking about how you can earn an additional $2,000 a month in your salary using the skills, knowledge, talent, and expertise that you already have, right? So what would you do? Like, if you had the extra money, what would you do with it? What would it allow for you? I have one mentee. I remember she came to me and she said, Ashley, I need to earn more money because me and my husband are trying to have another baby. And he said, we can't have another baby until I get a new job. And so her husband was literally like, listen, girl, I'm down for growing our family, but we can't afford it. And so we can't have another baby until you get a new job. And actually, that mentee, not just a $30,000 salary increase, but that mentee, Patty, earned an $80,000 salary increase through working with me in the Mentor Me Accelerator. And I know that they're now trying for that second baby. And so, I mean, sometimes it's like literally about growing your family. It's like a visceral need. It's not just a want or for you to blow, some more cash or get a new bag. It's about like really wanting to do the things that you actually desire, which I think makes it more powerful. Just for Tash said the ability to say yes to things I want and need. I love that, right? To be able to like, yes, I want this new YSL purse. Yes, I want to be able to, help this family member out financially. Like, I want to be able to do things that I want and things that I need, right? Like, I don't want my whole life to be, well, we got to do this. We got to do that. I want to be able to say, I want to do this and I did it. Right? Not just, well, we want to do this and we trying to do that. If you had an additional $2,000 a month, there would be a lot more things that you could actually do that you want to do, right? You'd be able to fulfill the desires of your heart, not just trying to pinch and pin things together, right? And I love that for you. And one of the things I talk a lot about is like, how can we move from survival mode to thrive mode? Right? I think a lot of times women in general and Black women in particular are literally in survival mode all the time. Well, we just out here trying to survive. Well, we just trying to make it happen. We just trying to see what it's going to do. And it's like, girl, get out of survival mode. Survival mode does not look good on you. How can we switch from surviving through our life and barely making it to actually thriving in our career in a way that we're bringing in the kind of income that we want, which allows us to have the kind of lifestyle that we want? Right? It's not just about earning enough money to get by. How can you earn enough money to have the kind of lifestyle that you desire? Right? How can you, and yeah, she said, right. Like how can we have the kind of lifestyle that we desire? That's what I'm thinking about. I'm not thinking about getting by. I do not operate on a get by type of mode. I operate on a thriving mode. What's going to help me thrive this month? What's going to help me win this month? What's going to help me be at the top of my game this month? Not, well, let me see how I can get by. Let me see how I can barely make it. Right? And now I think it's really time to start making thrive decisions, not survival decisions, but thrive decisions. So then the question is, how do we do it, Ashley? Like, how do we get from earning about $50,000 a year to earning about $80,000 a year and increasing our monthly salary from $44,000 a month to about $6,000 a month? How can we get that additional $2,000 in our pocket every month, right? And so there are three strategies, and these are three strategies that I actually teach in my Mentor Me Accelerator. If you know you need support in applying these strategies in your job search or in your current role to find and secure a raise or promotion or find and secure a new role, I invite you to apply to the accelerator today. I'm accepting new mentees right now, and we'll be able to work together to actually learn how to apply these strategies to your existing career, apply these strategies to the skills and talent and expertise that you already have so that you can actually see the $30,000 salary increase that we're talking about. Because the truth is that it's available to you. The $30,000 salary increase that you desire is available to you. Using the skills, knowledge, talent, and expertise that you already have, you can make more money in your existing industry without another degree and without another credential. You can do that right now. Right? But we need to be able to do these three things. Number one is speak to the sophistication of the problem that you solve. This is strategy number one for getting an additional $2,000 in your salary every month. You need to be able to speak to the sophistication of the problem that you solve. Let me give you an example. Let's say that you work in healthcare and you are a healthcare administrator. A big part of your job is patient intake, right? You're responsible for welcoming new patients into the door, making sure that their insurance and paperwork gets checked in, making sure that their vitals get checked, and making sure that they get connected with the nursing or medical staff to be fully evaluated. Maybe that's your job. Maybe you work in healthcare administration, right? If you do that kind of work, if you work in healthcare administration, the easiest way for you to get an additional $2,000 in your monthly salary to help support you living the lifestyle that you desire is to speak to the sophistication of the problem that you solve. A lot of y'all who work in administrative roles are like, I help people. I answer the phone. I check people in. I connect them to the nurses. You're not speaking to the sophistication of the problem that you solve. And they're paying you like a low-level employee because you talk about your work, you describe your work, you demonstrate your work like it's a low-level problem. But when you increase when you can properly speak to the sophistication of the problem that you solve, then you can help your current employer or help future employers see you as the valued asset that you truly are. So instead of talking about your work like, I check people in, I answer phones, I check paperwork, you should be speaking about how you serve as the primary patient intake professional who ensures quality and comprehensive care from intake point through discharge, right? And that you're responsible for managing hundreds of patients to connect them with high quality healthcare professionals and ensure that they get comprehensive healthcare support throughout the entire time that they're in the facility. You need to increase the way you speak about your expertise, the way you speak about the problem that you solve. And let me know if that's resonating with you. If that makes sense to you, if you're like, yes, Ashley, I do need to increase the way I speak about the problem I solve. I'm regularly talking about my work in a low-level, non-important way. Let me know if that resonates with you. Just Tash said, I'm tired of getting by. I want to know that I'm good if something happens without sacrificing time. So true. So true. And I think a big part of like knowing that you made it, a big part of knowing that like you got this in the bag is not just buying things, but buying time. Let me give you an example. When I think about moving, like if I had to move or if I had to relocate, I would not be thinking about, okay, let me go buy some boxes. Let me go buy some tape. Let me go buy a U-Haul and rent out a U-Haul. I would be thinking, what moving company can I hire to come and pack up all of this stuff and move it for me? Right? That's how you know you made it. When you're not thinking about buying things, but you're thinking about buying your time back. I'm always thinking about buying my time back. I'm never thinking about how can I, I'm thinking about my husband and I, a couple months ago, we got HelloFresh. HelloFresh is a meal delivery kit. They deliver the meat, the vegetables, the rice. They deliver basically everything in a box for you to have dinner for the next week, right? When I think about dinner, when I think about eating, when I think about, feeding my family, my husband and I'm not thinking about, well, let me go to the grocery store, let me get some meat, let me get some potatoes, let me get this, let me get that. I'm thinking about when does HelloFresh get delivered? Because they have everything in the box. I'm buying back my time. Now I don't have to spend hours in the grocery store. Now I don't gotta spend time thinking about what we gonna eat. Now I don't gotta meal prep. It's already prepped. They come in a box every Monday. Right? This is how you know you've made it financially. This is how you know you have that financial freedom. Is that when you're not thinking about buying things, you're thinking about buying your time back. And your time is the thing that you can't get back. So that's why you always want to focus on buying your time back. But you can't afford to buy your time back if you're only making $50,000 a year. You need to make more money. And in order to make more money, the first thing you need to be able to do is speak to the sophistication of the problem that you solve. Right? If you're talking about your work and your approach in a low-level way, people will see it in a low-level way and they will pay you poorly for your work. Yes, speak to the sophistication of the problem that you solve. So next, the second strategy, number two, the second strategy is that you need to speak to the value of the problem being solved by you. You need to speak to the value of that problem being solved by you. You are unique. You are special. And yes, they can go get somebody else to do it, but ain't nobody gonna do it like you. You're an expert. And not only do you need to be able to speak to the sophistication of the problem that you solve, but you also need to be able to speak to the value that problem being solved by you brings. Let me give you another example. So let's say that you work in education. You work in student services. And a big problem that your institution has is retaining students from semester to semester. Students are regularly dropping out, they stopping out, they're not returning to the institution. And you know that that's a big problem for the institution because how can they collect their tuition dollars if they're not there, right? colleges and universities thrive on students being present so that they can collect their tuition dollars so they can run. And if you know that a big part of your work in student services is to help retain students, then you need to be able to speak to the value that problem being solved by you brings. Every time a student doesn't return to the institution loses $20,000 a year. But my connection with students and the services that I provide and the way that I support students helps them retain. Thereby, we retain more than $1 million through the services that I provide students in this program. If you can speak to the value of the problem being solved by you, then you are more likely to be paid at a higher level than somebody that's just like, yeah, I run this program, I help students, the students are happy. You need to be able to speak to the value. So many of you are doing work that are making your companies millions and they paying you $50,000. You're earning your companies billions of dollars and they're paying you poorly. How can you better speak to the value, right? The value of the problem that you solve so you can be positioned at a higher level of leadership and so that you can earn more money, right? So that's strategy number 2. And strategy number 3 is to ask to be appropriately compensated for being a solution. You are a solution. You are a solution. The skills, the talent, the expertise is solving a problem for your organization. And if you are being underpaid for being a solution, you need to ask for a raise or promotion to be appropriately compensated for being the solution, or you need to find and secure a new role in an organization that will value your expertise. The way for you to earn more money, to see that additional $2,000 in your monthly salary, is to get an employer to appropriately compensate you for being the solution. Your skill sets right now are providing a solution to your organization. But you have not asked for the raise. You have not asked for the promotion. You think that you don't have what it takes. You think that you don't have enough years of experience. You think you need to go get another degree. And so you have not asked for the raise. Or maybe you've asked for it and they told you no and you're still there. Why are you still there? If you have asked for the raise, you have clearly articulated your value. If you have followed this framework and they are not paying you at the level that you desire, then you should not still be there. And maybe you was waiting on COVID, and maybe you was waiting on the kids to get out of school, and maybe you was waiting on this, and maybe you was waiting on that, but you shouldn't be waiting anymore. You can no longer afford to stay in that role knowing that they are not going to pay you at the level that you desire. And that should be a clear sign to you that it's time for mentorship, right? That's a sign for you that it's time for you to invest in your career development to make more money and have more impact. I'm accepting new mentees right now. The investment to work with me in mentorship is less than $4,000, but you can earn $30,000 in salary increases and see immediately that additional $2,000 in your monthly salary. It takes less than the increase that you would get to work with me for 2 months. So I invite you, if you're a professional woman who works in corporate, nonprofit, or educational leadership, and you know you need support implementing these strategies, you're like, Ashley, I understand the strategies, but I need help implementing. I need somebody to walk me through it. I need somebody to hold my hand while I make this ask or apply for higher level roles. Then you're in the right place to get that kind of mentorship. I'm accepting new mentees right now, and I invite you to apply to the Mentor Me Accelerator right on my website at mentor-me.org. That's mentor-me.org. I'm so excited to serve the July cohort. If you know you want to find and secure a higher level role by September, the time for you to take action in your career is right now. Apply to the accelerator right on my website at mentor-me.org. And if you want to talk about if you're being underpaid and overworked, if you believe that you are, if you have some concerns about if the level of salary you're currently earning is aligned with industry standards, don't hesitate to hop in my DMs. I'm excited to dialogue with you. I'm excited to talk with you about what's going on in your career and really help you advance your career in the ways that you desire. Thanks so much for watching today's live. See you soon. Bye.